Hi everybody, I wanted to explain GUI components for this final tip. And a few things that I wanted to point out are that we start by importing these two libraries. We're familiar with this first one, but the second one is newer and contains all the GUI JFrame components that we're going to be using in the GUI. So I want to talk about the structure of this and clarify that the way that we get this graphical user interface, you can see that there's a lot of different features here, but we can split it up into 2 rows and 3 columns. And row 1 is going to have this name, and put your name here, this drop-down menu, this checkbox, and the second row is going to have a list, a slew of radio buttons, and a slider. And the way that we accomplish that is by saying that within this class of GUI components, we then have created this grid layout of 6 panels, and we know that there's going to be 2 rows and 3 columns because we specified in the grid layout. And each panel is actually going to be, it's going to have its own number, and we're going to increment from 0 to 5 for each panel until we're done making panels, and that's how we end up with them. So you can see that each one corresponds to a feature, and then we have this inner class that will take us through each feature. So for example, if we look at 0th, which will be the first, we are having a label that we're going to create, edit, modify, and then situate in panel 0, and that's why we have this JPanel bracket 0, and that's how we get it at the top left corner of the screen. You can look at any element here and see, okay, if there's 6 and this is the last one and we start at 0, this slider is definitely going to be associated with the number 5 in our index. So we scroll down and we see that it's true. This 5th panel refers to our slider, and we know that because we have the slider dot a method of set major tick spacing, and that's going to get us between 5 and 50 with our new slider. It's going to situate us within the 5th panel. And so, yeah, one other thing I'll mention is that this 4th one here is particularly interesting because within the grid layout of 6 already, we're going to break it down further into another grid of 3 rows and 1 column. And we can see that by the fact that we have 3 radio buttons stacked on top of each other. And you can see that because we're setting a new layout, this 3, 1 refers to 3 being, like, we know that as the x value, and it's true, that's how many rows we have. And 1 is the y, so the columns vertically. So yeah, so there's all of that in our inner class of make panels, and that is all within our outer GUI component class, which is why when we create GUI, when we create that GUI, it's going to be under public static void main string args outside of our inner make panels class. And so that's how we get that.